Welcome to the UK Motorsports Hour, brought to you by GoRacingTV.com. On this week's show, we head to iconic Silverstone for round 1 of the Logsdon Group Porsche Championship. Then north to Scotland to Knockhill Racing Circuit for the first round in an 8-round season for the Scottish Mini Cooper Cup. Then in the second half of the show, we go back to Silverstone for round 1 of the Dunlop UK Ford Fiesta Championship. And we finish the show in Silverstone with round 1 of the Brick Car Championship. So let's go to Silverstone, where Richard John Neal is in the booth and ready for the drop of the green flag.
Slightly overcast skies here today at Alton Park. Here's the view from Adam Croft in last year's Champions car, and a great start from Rick Styron. He hooks it up magnificently off second position on the grid, and he's got ahead of Jerry Taylor. Can he maintain the lead as they go down to Old Hall? Yes, he has. Jerry Taylor, we're looking at Jerry Taylor from the third place car, second position Taylor, but in the race lead it's Rick Styron as they go down the avenue through Dentons, down towards Cascades for the first time. Rick Styron, what a great hookup that was. You can't help but say Jerry Taylor's going to be a little bit disappointed with his start. The rest of them all through. Sometimes you get some shenanigans down through Old Hall and the avenue the first time, but driving standard superb as Richard Sykes looks up the inside of second place man Jerry Taylor as they go into Island Bend for the first time. Up across the line they come once again, and it's Styron across the line still leading from Jerry Taylor in second position. The gap back to Richard Sykes, it's not a huge gap. The onboard camera just tends to accentuate it a little bit. Sykes gets a couple of wheels over the curb there. Now you can get 2 wheels over the curb, or more specifically the white line, which is the thing that marks the circuit perimeter. So we look at Steve Brown there in the production Boxster. If you get all 4 wheels over the white lines repeatedly, you'll get a penalty, a time penalty. But the leaders still hanging on and racing well, and Rick Styron is controlling this one pretty well at the moment. But for my money, Taylor starting to look a little bit more aggressive. Wide lines they come into Shell Oils, that Banks corner. There is Sean Siddle, who at the moment is running second in class behind Alistair Kirkham. And of course, as you'd expect, the more venerable 924 start to get eaten up by the race leaders. And we've got Jerry Taylor now in lead position. So Jerry Taylor has finally made it past Rick Styron in second position. So Styron down to second, and there's still a little bit of a way clear at the moment of Richard Sykes, who we ride on board with in third position. And let's see whether Rick Styron's going to be able to get back past the race leader. So Taylor in front. As we look at 88, Chris Valentine in the black Boxster, mixing it with some of the 924s, and Rick Styron's off! Rick Styron from second position is off into the gravel. That has got to be race over for Styron, because there's no momentum left in the car. He's going to be out of it, and this is going to leave Jerry Taylor with a decent lead. It's a couple of seconds now for Jerry Taylor. Here's the onboard view from Richard Sykes, and that is bitter disappointment for Rick Styron. Not the way that you want to open the season. The drivers do have drop scores. The body language says it all for Rick Styron, who made a superb start in part 1 of the programme and now throws it away, and that means he's got to do it all from the back of the grid in race 2, because remember, race 2, the grid based on the finishing positions from race 1. So Jerry Taylor it is, the 53-year-old from Haverhill, chairman of Taylor's Foundry, and they've been regulars in the Caterham Championship over the years, more so of course of late in the Porsche Championship. Heading towards the checkered flag now, it's Jerry Taylor who's going to open his account for 2012 with a race win. Here comes Jerry Taylor, and there is the checkered flag. Jerry Taylor takes a superb win here, first round of the Logsdon Group Porsche Championship. There is David Bierman, who takes third place. Adam Croft's going to be fourth, but we're looking at the battle for fifth position now as Ian Loggett comes up the hill. He's got Andrew Burrows in front of him. Well, I can tell you that Loggett has taken fifth position ahead of Tom Andrew, but the man who takes the first win of the season, Jerry Taylor, and disappointment for Rick Styron, who winds up in the gravel.
Yeah, I managed to get the car off the start quite well. Managed to got the car up behind Sykes into the first corner, and followed the train, as it were, into Shell. Unfortunately, after the second lap, I missed my gear change up after Falston chicane, so we opened the gap somewhat, and the net result of that was basically I ended up most of the race sort of on my own. The meat and the sandwich, as it were, between the front pack and the pack behind me. So at that time I thought, to keep it consistent and just bring it home.
Great close racing from the Logsdon Group Porsche Championship at Silverstone. After this break, the Scottish Mini Cooper Cup from Scotland, the Knockhill Racing Circuit. This is the UK Motorsports Hour, presented by GoRacingTV.com.